Now, we've talked about the elephant-faced god, Ganapati. We've talked about it a little bit, but really to understand it in Himalayan art, you have to separate out the Hindu ideas from the Buddhist ideas. And in the Hindu, in the Shaiva religion of Hinduism, the followers of Shiva, of which Ganesha belongs, that is a different deity than the Ganapati of Buddhism. In the Hinduism, Ganesh is a son of Parvati. In Buddhism, Ganesh is an emanation generally of Avalokiteshvara, who is taking on a lot of the characteristics of the Shaiva Ganapati or Ganesha, but they're different. Now, I use the word Ganapati because that is the term that Buddhists use in the early Sanskrit texts and in the later Tibetan texts. And it is the term that is found in the mantras and the dharanis, is Ganapati. Ganesha is not really used. That's more of a term found in India with the Shaiva religious tradition. So within Buddhism, we have to really divide up the study of the forms of Ganesh between the Sarma traditions and the Nyingma tradition. For the Sarma tradition, Sarma means the new tantras that came into the Himalayan regions in Tibet around the 11th century with Rinchen Zongpo and Atisha and the Sakya and the Kagyu and the Jonang and the Gelug school. So with Ganapati, we have very few forms. With the Sarma schools, we really only have three physical variations. We have a one-face four-armed, a one-face six-armed, or a three-face six-armed, and then a one-face 12-armed. Now, the one-faced four-armed can be white, yellow, or red in color. The three-faced six-armed, there's only one type of that. And for the one-faced 12-arm, again, there's only one type of that form, the red one-faced 12-armed. So these are really the forms of Ganesh we have, or Ganapati that we have. Within the Nyingma system, there are many. There are at least 6 to 8 different forms that I've seen represented in art. There's likely to be many more than that. And there was actually a PL 480 publication done back in the late 60s, early 70s, which was a Ganapati Bebum, a collection of all the Nyingma practices of Ganapati. So there are more texts. So we really have to divide between the Nyingma and the Sarma, and before that we have to divide between the Buddhist and the Shaiva Hindu to understand the different forms of Ganesh. And also in terms of art, we really don't have a lot of painting or sculpture that is particularly early. What we will find with painting from the 13th century, 13th, 14th century, we will find Ganapati as a secondary figure in paintings, but almost never up till now as a primary figure. So regardless of that, there's always new forms that we're going to find. We're going to find that there are more Nyingma forms, more revealed treasure forms, and we're also likely going to find more Sarma forms, because even though there's really only 2 texts in the Kanjur, there's the Ganapati Hridaya Tantra, and then there's the Mahaganapati Tantra. There's almost 20 commentary texts and ritual texts for Ganapati, which describe forms of Ganapati that we don't see so far in art, but it's very possible we could find these in the future in obscure temples or as murals in temples in location in Nepal, Bhutan, or Tibet or Mongolia.